Good evening, Ms. Ruth, and welcome.
Good evening. Thank you for inviting the Department of Labor to be part of this program tonight.
Okay, so this is your first time with us.
Yes, it is my first time with you.
You know, the thing is, every time we talk about employment issues, we get a lot of text questions and text reactions. No? So we decided to do another episode dealing with employment situation. The employment situation, for one thing, there was a recent report saying that the country's unemployment rate is on the rise. Although I understand it's not significant, but in view of the fact that this administration had a target of 1 million new jobs a year, and to hear that we're actually losing jobs, I think it's something that we ought to talk about. No? So, before anything, tell us about the unemployment situation in the Philippines.
We use before it's the National Statistics Office that does the labor force survey. That's the official statistics that we use in government when we speak of unemployment, the employment indicators. Now we have the Philippine Statistics Authority.
Okay.
It was created in December last year. So napagsama na natin yung National Statistics Office, the Bureau of Labor and Employment Statistics, NSCB, and
so wala na yung NSO.
Wala na yung NSO. That's
in its
Philippine
old,
Statistics.
in its old
yes, there was a
form.
law that was passed last year and was implemented last year. So it's Philippine Statistics Office. We use their data. So when we speak of employment indicators, magagaling dapat sa kanila yon. So I'll just give you briefly yung indicators.
Okay.
The comparison of the statistics of 2012 and 2013 because we do a year-on-year change observation. So in terms of unemployment rate, yung unemployment last year was 7%. I mean 2012, so 2013 is 7.1%. So there was an increase of 0.1%. Very marginal change. So it translates into, in absolute terms, is 70,000 unemployed additional in the labor market.
So in other words, between 2012 and 2013, no?
Yes.
Year-end 2013,
Yes.
mga 70,000 Filipinos ang nawalan ng trabaho, ganun ba yun?
Dumagdag sa unemployment. Hindi nawalan.
Okay.
Then, because it's a function also of the labor force participation. So ang ating...
So not necessarily these do not necessarily constitute people who were laid off.
Not necessarily.
Okay.
Not necessarily. Kasi pag tinitingnan din natin yung mga pumapasok sa labor force, yung labor force participation rate. Tinignan mo din kung tumataas ba yung populasyon. So dapat tinitingnan din natin yun, hindi lang yung unemployment. But if you're gonna ask me, yung sinasabi nga natin, our problem really is on the underemployment, not really on the unemployment. It's on the quality of the work that our workers experience in the labor force. So when we say underemployment, there are people who are working less than 40 hours a week at naghahanap sila ng trabaho or naghahanap pa sila ng oras para magtrabaho. And this is a very big proportion of our labor force. We have about 20% last year in 2012, but in 2013, bumaba siya ng 19.1. So, 19.3. So, there's a very good indicator of 7%, 0.7% increase. So, ibig sabihin lang nun, mas bumaba yung mga taong underemployed na naghahanap pa ng mas maraming trabaho. So, gumanda yung quality ng employment natin.
Okay. Director, pag pinag-uusapan natin itong unemployment, ito ba yung ang batayan lang ba natin yung ng employed, yung mga taong nagtatrabaho para sa isang kumpanya, yung captured siya by the system, may SSS o may GSIS and so forth and so on. Is there a way for us to know how many Filipinos are in the underground economy? Kasi pag sinabi natin walang trabaho, unemployed, ito nangangahulugan na yung tao talagang walang pagkukuhanan ng kabuhayan, no? Pwede ang isang tao ay nasa underground economy o yung kahit sabihin mo vendor, hindi siya nagbabayad ng buwis, hindi siya naghuhulog sa SSS o sa pag-ibig, pero kung kahit ambulant vendor siya, kahit paano meron siya mabubunot pag mangailangan kanyang pamilya. So is there a way to sort
What
of...
you're saying is the informal sector. Those
So,
who
iba yan?
comprise, iba din yun. Iba yun.
Okay.
Yung unemployed naman, kailangan may tatlong criteria ang basehan natin. Yung WAS na tinatawag nilang WAS. Willing to work, available to work, and seeking work. Hindi pwedeng basta unemployed ka lang. Kung hindi ka naman naghahanap ng trabaho, hindi ka kasama
So
doon sa
hindi ka kasama doon. Okay. So I know for a fact that the series of calamities we had recently, of course, the most celebrated one is, or the most infamous one, I guess, is the Yolanda. And I would think that cost us a lot of jobs because a lot of industries, local industries in that part of the Philippines was destroyed. No? And I understand it has yet to recover. So, ito ba ay nagtamo ba yung ating ekonomiya ng mas mataas kaya na unemployment rate dahil sa job loss or loss of opportunity doon sa Tacloban area and surrounding locales?
There is evidence, yes. Let me start on the reason why we have an increase of unemployment. They say that they're attributing it to the losses in agriculture sector, particularly on the losses that we had because of the weather disturbances we experienced in the first, third, and the fourth quarter of last year. Marginal yung ating decrease sa agriculture, negative 2.8%. So malaki yun. Dahil ngayon sa sinabi mo na nga, yung sa mga series of typhoons that we experienced, because we, on a year-on-year basis, we experienced 19 to 20 on an average typhoons. So, malaki din, yung sa Bohol lang na in-experience natin, malaki din sa agriculture and fisheries. On the Yolanda, on the recent typhoon, the ILO, the International Labor Organization, estimated 5.9% workers affected in that devastation alone. So, malaki din.
So, meron yan trickle-down effect na throughout the rest of the year, of course.
Of course.
Kasi hindi na makaka-bounce back yan in a month or two.
For a disaster, for example, hindi lang nawawalan ng trabaho yung mga tao, but the basic economic infrastructure, diba, yung roads, nawawala din yun. So it's a matter of rebuilding the entire economy, which will eventually affect, give available employment.
Okay, nabanggit mo rin yung infrastructure kasi pag yung mga daanan, yung elektrisidad, yung mga communications network, nasira, it takes time, no, for that to bounce back. Although, sa isang banda naman, pwede mo sabihin, with devastation comes the opportunity for reconstruction and rebuilding, and that also entails a significant workforce, no? Pero yung pag devastated ang area, talagang it takes time to bounce back. Pero looking forward, do you think that government, and I don't just mean the DOLE, but government, is it doing enough to stimulate job generation? Kasi alam natin na isa sa mga pangako sa mga SONA ng Pangulong Aquino, itong every year daw 1 million karagdagan trabaho, and that was one of the targets that he laid out years ago. Pero that doesn't seem to be happening, and as evidenced by the fact na medyo kahit na sabihin mong marginal yung pagbagsak o pagtaas ng unemployment rate, still that's not a plus, that's negative. So is the government doing enough?
Well, my opinion, yes. Because you mentioned the 1 million job generation targets every year. We have achieved that. And in fact, in 2012, it's 1.4 million that we created. The DOLE itself has a community-based employment program. At doon natin natatrack yung mga pumasok na bagong employment, not just mostly created by government through our infrastructure project.
Okay. Alright. If you want to take part in our discussions, pinag-uusapan po natin yung unemployment rate ng bansa. Kung kayo, kabilang kayo dun sa mga unemployed, o kung kayo, kontento kayo sa buhay nyo, you can text your questions or reactions to cellphone number 0915-209-6012. That's 0915-209-6012. Okay. So ano ang mga ginagawa ngayon para kasi itong employment hindi ito basta na lang nag-a-appear. Ika nga. Of course, the private sector has its role to pero the private sector will always be there if the conditions are right, if the opportunity is there to make money. Talagang maraming tao gusto pa rin magka-business, di ba? O di kaya mag-expand ng kanilang existing business. Pero minsan, kung yung policy makers, yung mga pulisiyang ginagawa nila, either it's not conducive to business or hindi proactive masyado, hindi agresibo, minsan merong katamlayan no? So ano ang mga concrete steps that the government has taken? Mamaya natin tutukan yung mga ginagawa ng DOLE, no? Pero in general, on a macro.
On a macro scale, our approach is inclusive growth. Okay? Inclusive
Ano ba
growth.
ibig sabihin?
Ibig sabihin, it's economic growth that translates also into massive employment that also reduces poverty. Okay? Kasi at some point, they were saying jobless growth tayo. Diba? We're claiming that there's economic growth. Sabi nila, gumagana ekonomiya, but it doesn't translate into employment. That's what they're saying. Diba? But you know, that another side of that is, there are different reasons also why it's happened. It's not gonna happen overnight. Gumagana ekonomiya, darating yung pagkakaroon din ng trabaho. The investments in the first place, yung ating economic growth na-achieve natin, it's attributed by the flow of remittances from overseas. And the thing is, when we got those remittances, the people, we spend it into consumption. Hindi nag-translate into investments. What we really want for us to grow as an economy is to improve our investments. In that manner, it will create jobs. Okay? So that's one thing. So yeah, that's one part of the story. Second, kung gumaganda yung ating ekonomiya, there's also what do you call it? Tumataas din yung optimism ng mga tao. So marami rin naghahanap ng trabaho. For example, I'd like to be concrete. In Metro Manila, kung sasabihin natin gumaganda yung ekonomiya ng Metro Manila, people are coming into Manila and looking for work and expecting for more work, thereby increasing the number of the baseline of the unemployed.
Everyone's still gravitating towards Metro Manila, no? Pero that's something that has to be addressed, no? Because ang problema naman, that also leads to its share of problems, no? Dahil a lot of Filipinos seem to feel that the opportunities are not in the countryside. When the smart money is to spread the wealth, di ba?
Yeah.